So every time somebody wants to talk about something supernatural on my show, I get technical difficulties. And since Jonathan4Realz wanted to talk about ghosts on this episode, my video just completely cut out. So you can enjoy listening to me talk while you watch him react. Have fun. What's up?
What is going on?
Show me that Mr. Peepers again.
Mr. Peepers? We're talking about Mr. Peepers? Yeah, this is it's sad for anyone who's watched the marks. Mr. Peepers did in fact die.
What is Mr. Peepers exactly?
Tamagotchi. Remember Tamagotchis, right?
Yeah, of course I remember Tamagotchis.
Yeah.
Who doesn't?
Tamagotchis. Mr. Peepers is dead though.
What was the other kind? There was another one that was like similar to Tamagotchi, but it was like more Americanized.
Americanized. I don't know. What was it?
The tiger one.
I've always liked the Japanese. The tiger one.
You don't remember the
I
one?
do remember this.
Made?
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, they were like, it was more like animals. They weren't like as, I don't know, like Tamagotchis are like fictional, weird, creature things.
Yeah.
Hatch out of eggs.
Well, that was like
whatever the animal thing was. Yeah. What were Geopets?
Geopets. Yeah.
Geopets.
Or something Pocket.
Yeah. Maybe.
Pocket Geo?
I don't. Pocket Geo?
That was a video thing, wasn't it?
Maybe.
I don't know.
GeoCities? Remember GeoCity? Yeah.
Yeah.
So it used to live on the internet. We all lived in GeoCities.
Yeah. We're kind of coming back to that too, I think.
I do too. Have you? I love going around some of like the like web archive, like preserved old internet pages.
Wait, put a pin in that. Man. Hang on. We were talking about Mr. Peepers.
Mr. Peepers
on purpose.
Tamagotchi.
Yeah, because Mr. Peepers. Are you ready for?
Yeah.
Your first good laugh?
Oh Lord.
Mr. Peepers is very awkward for me to hear because when I was a little boy, like my mommy taught me that my penis was called a peeper.
Mr. Peeper. Oh, Mr. Peepers.
Yeah, so.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it kind of makes sense. Mr. Peepers. I feel like Mr. Peepers is something that sounds like would hatch out of an egg, like a chicken or a pecker.
A grower, not a shower.
Yeah. The little two Tamagotchis, Mr. Peepers. This is definitely not going on TikTok. That'll get you banned.
Yeah, probably. YouTube's getting a little bit more free with that kind of stuff, I think.
YouTube is, yeah. I think. Let's see. I mean, we haven't said any of the bad words in the first 10 minutes of the show. So I think that's the rule on YouTube. As long as you don't say any of the bad words in the first 10 minutes.
It's only 3 minutes in.
Yeah. So we're pushing it now.
A few more to go.
But I don't think Mr. Peepers is the bad word on YouTube.
Nobody knows what that means.
Nobody knows.
Who would know what that meant?
It can mean anything.
It could mean anything.
How would they know?
And the first thing that I said that it did mean was educational language. Right. Educational language. It's the proper name.
You can get away with a lot.
Yeah.
For educational purposes on YouTube.
Yeah. So that we're safe. So
yeah, we're safe.
Where are we going to start? I went to Mexico.
Oh yeah. How was that,
bro? It was fun.
I've never been.
I've
never been. I'm always scared I'll get over there and then the wall will finally be done and I'll be just stuck.
I'll be stuck behind the wall. I kind of low-key was scared of going because of all of the things with the tariffs and stuff. I was like, oh God, it's Mexico. I don't know. And then like you hear the horror stories about Mexico and it's like, oh, it's such a terrible place and everything's so violent and, blah, 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 blah. Well, I didn't hear any gunshots while I was there, but I did see a couple of policia with automatic rifles on their shoulders, which is different, but
I mean, I saw that in Alabama just this past week. So,
yeah.
I mean, it's not that big of a difference for me.
Yeah.
I mean, I was watching a little bit of luchador wrestling action on with my VPN, pretending I was in Mexico this past week, and I was enjoying kind of like how shitty the arenas were. Oh, sorry. Oh
Yeah.
no, it's not been 10 minutes in.
Oh man, we'll beat
And
that part
like,
out.
yeah, we'll beat that one out. We'll put like a chicken sound, Mr. Peepers. And but like everything reminded me of like, I don't know, the 90s. It felt like 20 years old. Everything just like it
Was it
was like,
like watching Napoleon Dynamite?
yeah, everything felt, no, what's the Jack Black movie? That was like the same director, Jared Hess, made it
Was that the one?
after Napoleon Dynamite. Yeah, where he was a luchador.
Yeah,
Um
Nacho Libre.
Nacho Libre. It really had that feel. Like
That's cool.
all of the footage, and it was like brand new, like happening live on HBO Max if you had a VPN and pretended you were Mexican.
Oh damn.
And yeah, and I was really digging it. It kind of like, it was very nostalgic. So I kind of want to go down to Mexico and watch some luchador action.
I'm gonna
That
tell
seems
you,
fun to me.
Mexico is amazing.
Yeah.
So you can't see this because my camera's not working right. So only the people that
Yeah.
are watching the recording. But this here is a really cool little skull that was made with resin. And if you can see it, once you can see it, it's got sugar skull style with
It's so
Aztec.
cool.
It is so cool. It's got Aztec symbolism all over it, and then like it's got the Mayan calendar on top. And
I really wish I could see it.
it looks really cool. And I just want to say shout outs to Pollo. His name was Pollo, yes, like the chicken. He said Pollo.
Like the chicken.
Yeah, him and his father make these, and he sold it to me. So I told him I'd shout him out on my show. And then this one here was made by his good friend. I'm going to cut this part out because I can't remember the man's name. It was a Bible name.
Good save. No, I really wish I could see this. I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued.
So this is a Jaguar. This is a Jaguar. Okay, it's a musical instrument. All right, are you ready for it?
Uh-huh.
So it's carved out of wood, and it has clay on it. And I'll send you a picture when we're done so you can actually see it. But it reminds me of the Blakely.
I didn't get what was going on.
You know that Blakely,
but like
whenever
close
they
to
would,
the end, yeah, that did sound like a Jaguar.
And remember when Blakely used to would get the touchdown? They would play that.
Yeah. Oh, the Bobcat sound.
The Bobcat sound.
Yeah. You could get that could be your new job. You could get a job down in Blakely at the football field. They just set you up there with a mic. You could do it live and in real time. People would love it. They'd put it on get a little webcam, put it on TikTok. That'd be nice.
Absolutely. But I mean, I can't wait till you actually could see those things. They're so cool. But yeah, these two guys, they had set up at the resort that they had us put up in, and they just had like a circus out there that night, and they had some little crafts and things that people had made locally that they were for sale and stuff. So I was like, yeah, those are cool. And I was like, yeah, I'll get it. Abraham. The dude's name was Abraham. Abraham.
There we go.
So sorry, I forgot your name. It's been a minute since we talked, but I do like this souvenir. It's super cool. It reminds me of my past. It's a good time. And yeah, everybody.
I feel like people forget a lot of things when they come back from Mexico.
Yeah, probably.
It's probably a thing.
So on the way there, I got frisked by the TSA.
Oh yeah, that's right. You were supposed to tell me about this. Yeah.
Yeah. So
how was it?
I was mad. He didn't give me any kind of money afterwards.
No money?
No.
All right. Did you get a warning? Did you know you were about to get frisked? That's my question.
Yes. It was not full on molestation. It was just involuntarily forced. It was molestation. Anyways, so I've never had this happen before. I've gone to Australia when I was like 19 or 20. I've been to Canada. They were just like, do you promise that you're from the United States, eh? And we were like, yeah. They're like, welcome to Canada, eh? And so like we went into Canada, right? And then when we came back, we didn't even have to stop at the thing. We just came straight in. They were just like
Just
looked at the
I'm all,
driver's license of the driver of the bus. And it was like, oh, all right, come on back in. And so like that was
yeah, I
easy.
got stopped by Border Patrol like right next to the Mexican border one time, and they kind
Yeah.
of looked at me and went, you're American. Just go.
It's ridiculous, man. So then we get down there. Oh no, wait. So we're it's Kingsport, dude. Kingsport, Tennessee. This dude ain't nobody around here. Don't look like they're not from here. Whatever. Everybody like looks like they belong in Kingsport, Tennessee this morning. And I
Right.
walk up, and then it's like ding ding ding, and like I get it, like I could have something in my pocket. So he's like, yeah, you got to step back in there. I do it again. He's like, raise your hands up a little higher. Maybe that's what it was. Get out, and then it's like I'll yell it out around my crotch. And I was like, oh man, it's the zipper. So like I'm just like, hey man, like I don't want you to touch me. I don't think you want to touch me. Can I just unzip my pants and like, just show you that there's nothing there? Nope, can't do that. All right. This all right.
Hang on. Alternatively, here's an option you could have done. I don't think they would have liked it, but I think you could have got away with it legally. Fine. I'll take my pants off. Take them off. Go back through the machine.
In my underwear.
Yeah. Do it in your underwear.
Legit. Why didn't I think of that? Oh, I'm really mad now. So no, like like when the TSA says like, oh, you got to do something. So if you don't do it, then they could totally like stick their fingers up your butt, right? So
yeah,
I'm just like, okay, I guess so. And then we get over here beside the wall, and I'm like, he's like talking to me. I was like, dude, I was like, do you really have to touch me? And he's like, do you want me to get my supervisor? I was like, nope, it's fine. So then he starts asking me. Like he's telling me what he's gonna do. He's like, "Is this okay?" Blah 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 blah. I'm like, "Just do it. Just do what you got to do. Just do it." And he's like, he was physically angry at me that he had to touch my penis, but I didn't want him to. He legit could have, like, he could have suggested that I just go back through it in my undies.
Yeah. Right. Why is no one suggesting this?
No, it would have been the simplest thing. And women go through the airport in their underwear every day, all day long.
I mean,
those little Spanks that they wear up under there, like some of them might have underwear on, but I guarantee you 50% of the women in there, that is their underwear.
So I had a very similar situation happen to me coming back from Delaware. And so it was a like very early morning flight. I'm kind of like, halfway asleep, just kind of going through the airport. It's honestly not busy at all, which is, I love. I love those kinds of times whenever you're flying and there's no one there. I love it. And so I'm thinking to myself, I'm going to be making some TikToks while I'm traveling in the airport. I better make sure I look cute. So I put on my best skinny jeans and my matching hoodie, and I get my whole outfit together. And I am not thinking about the fact that my skinny jeans are button fly. And I am half asleep, and I am just shuttled from the hotel. They shuttle me to the airport, and I immediately just get right into the TSA line. I'm half asleep. I just got a carry-on bag and my button fly jeans. And I'm confident that I'm like, I got nothing on me. I'm just confident I'm just going to be a breeze, Got my hands up. I'm ready to go. And guy's like, can you step right here? And he does not give me any warning. Stand right here. Okay. Put your hands up. I'm like, I'm thinking he's about to get me with the wand or something, that's a common thing. All of a sudden, I kind of get this motion in my crotch, kind of like just a back of hand, just a lot of the back of the hand. Like that's supposed to make it better. I honestly was a little more insulted that I'm just getting a lot of like, what's happening? What's happening? Oh, you're good. What?
He didn't even finish.
I'm good. So, yeah, no, I've got a lot of sympathy for your story there. I've dealt
Wow.
with it before.
Isn't
Yeah.
that crazy? I didn't know how common that was. Apparently it's
So
pretty common.
button fly, no go when you're flying,
Metal
unless you're into that
period.
kind of backhand kind of thing. I've never experienced that feeling before.
No, man. But yeah. So then
And I'll limp and loose too. I'll floppy with the hand. Like, why are you flapping it?
yeah, it was not fun.
Weirdo.
It was not fun. But yeah, so so then we got on the next plane there after, or the first plane. After that, you don't have to go through TSA anymore. And dude, in Mexico, they're so much more chill. But like, good flight there. Got there. They look at your passport and they're like, stamp, you're good. Welcome to Mexico. And I got to use my Spanish a little bit while I was there. That was cool because I kind of learned Spanish a little bit along throughout my life and stuff. So like, I thought that I talked trash Spanish, but then I got there and I started talking to the guy that we thought we were riding on the bus with, but because I was speaking Spanish with him, kind of learned that no, this isn't the right bus. And then he helped me to like figure out where to go. So he's like, asked me, did I speak a lot of
That's
Spanish?
got to be like a a great realization to have. Like, this is not the right bus.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah,
boy.
yeah, yeah. It was good. Well, we were right next to the right bus, so it was just like one step away. But
Oh
in
well,
that
there.
process, like he's like, "Oh, you speak Spanish?" And I was like, "Ah, un poquito," and he's like, "No, no, no, suficiente." Yeah, I think it says suficiente. Yes, that's what he said. Man, it's so fun to learn new words because they're hard to say. I tried to say one yesterday at a Mexican restaurant that I never said, and I did not say it well.
You know, I used to think it was really cool, the whole like idea of like having like an automatic translator or something like that, where you can communicate with anybody and just like, there's no language barriers and stuff like that. But I mean, I do think you're right that like actually learning the language and the like satisfaction of learning new words and learning new things, it like there is something to that
yeah.
like having a robot translator is never going to replicate.
No, no. And just that humanness that like he understood that I didn't speak that as my main language, but I was trying. Like he felt more keen to help me out because I
Hmm.
cared. So yeah, so then we found the right bus and we went to the hotel and like it was super cool. Like it was right on the beach. The lobby where you sign in at, like there was this big open window and like you could see, out to the beach. And we got up the next day. Uh, she had to go to this meeting thing and I went out on the beach and like, just explored the place and like found all the cool spots to hang out with her with afterwards. And um, then I saw this guy. He looked like um, was it Batista? Dave Batista?
Yeah, Dave Batista,
That's his name. He looked just like that guy. And
the old guy.
he did not know who he was. I was like, you don't
Did
know
he have
who
the tattoos and stuff?
he didn't have all the tattoos, but I swear to God, he looked just like him. And I was just like, you don't know who that is? And he's like, no, 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 no. So I found him on Google and I showed it to him, and like he had this big grin on his face because he knew he looked just like him. It's like I look like a movie star, but he was like the general manager of the hotel or whatever. He was a real nice
Yeah.
guy. He was like out there always making sure people were having a good time, making sure everything was cleaned up, everything was just perfect. And then so we did that. We got to go snorkeling, seen some cool fish and stuff. And then on the way back, um, it stormed all the way back. So like we had to like fly through some turbulence and stuff like that.
He never liked that. You
No.
know, so all right. The last time that I had turbulence, I honestly like it didn't even phase me, but I didn't care because like I was intrigued.
Yeah.
So our pilot, before we were taking off, he said like he apologized. We were like 15 minutes late. He apologized and said, I'm going to see if I can make up some time in the air. And I was like, what do you mean this guy's going to try and make up some time in the air?
Yeah.
Like, we know how long this flight is, right? Like, the flight is a certain distance. We know how fast planes typically go. There's like what do you mean you're going to make up some time? Is there a shorter route? What do you mean?
Right.
And He did. We got there early.
That's
We were
crazy.
15 minutes late. And like, he was like hitting some turbulence and stuff. And like, he told, like, never like took off the fasten seatbelt light the whole time we flew.
That's wild.
But we got there
Yeah.
45 minutes early. And I'm like, you know what? I respect it. Give me this guy on the way back home. Like, let him take off on time and see what we can
Yeah.
do.
Dude, that's crazy. That's kind of like that last flight because we got delayed and he did the same thing, but we didn't get there like too early, but we kind of just didn't lose any time. Um,
Have you
man,
seen all the stuff about the pilot, like the HBO Max show, The Rehearsal, and the like that whole controversy with the FAA, like how they kind
no,
of made a joke out of like airline rules, and like they proved like that there's like a problem, and that the FAA could solve like basically almost all plane crashes for pretty much nothing. Like it would just be like sending out a mass email to
really,
pilots before they fly. They pretty much could like, I'm oversimplifying it, but they've really showed that they could really solve a lot of our problems with flights in a very simple, cost effective way. And they did it by like making a joke out of FAA regulations and how stupid they were, and also kind of like showed that some of them are I don't know. I'm not sure exactly the word, but like you can't be a pilot if you have autism, for instance.
yeah,
Um, and I would say that that's I've run into some pilots in my day, and I could definitely say some of them are definitely high functioning autistic, and they're great pilots. And
hmm
so, like, I wouldn't say that that's a fair regulation, but like, you can't, if you have anything that they deem like not neurotypical, you can't be a pilot. And they kind of like illustrated that, showed that you can circumvent that, and that people do circumvent regulations, and made like a mockery of the FAA, but
hmm
also showed that they could solve all of the problems in like a super simple, almost comedic way.
yeah,
And the FAA is big mad.
yeah. That's funny.
Yeah, you should check it out. The Rehearsal,
The
you'd love it. I
Rehearsal.
mean, especially, you know, w- being in the neurodivergent space.
Yeah,
It's very, yeah, it's great.
yeah. Um, dude. Golly, I'm tired. I wish that we had gotten on here sooner.
You know, tech stuff happens, man. But you know what? I blame myself. I think it's my fault
How is it your fault?
because I've been planning for days to bring up like supernatural and paranormal stuff, and every time that anything supernatural or
It
paranormal
always
comes up on your
happens.
show, there's a tech issue, and I've been planning for days. And so like I feel like this is like I've manifested this.
Well, let's don't jump the shark yet. A couple things I wanted to mention to you. One thing was that I figured out that Liam Neeson is actually going to be in the Naked Gun remake. It's not a
Okay,
joke. It's
so
not a joke.
it's not a joke.
No,
Good.
there's a full on IMDb page, and like there's like marketing coming out for it and everything. It's like it's real.
It's real, but it is a joke, right?
Maybe, yeah.
It is a joke, but
Well,
it's
the
not
whole
gonna.
movie would be a joke,
Yeah, exactly.
but then
I think it's honestly though, it's the perfect casting though.
yeah, yeah,
Like, I mean, that's what made the original so great. Like Leslie Nielsen was a serious actor. Like he took his roles very serious. And before Airplane, I don't think he had a comedic role at all. Right? I think that was his
probably,
first time doing a comedy,
yeah,
and he was only cast because it was like, oh, it'll be funny to have this incredibly serious actor in this very unserious movie. And that is where the magic was. And they stumbled upon like something that, I mean, it created a whole genre of movies, you know?
right.
And I mean, I think that like that kind of vibe, Liam Neeson's going to absolutely nail it. It's
Is it
perfect
possible
casting.
for you to see a picture on your phone right now?
No.
Dang it.
It is possible to see a picture on my computer screen in front of me by sending it to me through some sort of social media or web page.
I have to display this later. Let's see if I can put it
Okay.
out here this way. Allow. What does this mean? Yeah, no, that's not going to work. Well, darn. I don't know how to send it to you this way because Messenger doesn't work this way because it's texting.
Oh, okay.
You're using your phone to video like I am, aren't you?
Yep.
All right. I'm going to fix this with some swapping because I want you to see this.
Shout out to Droid Cam for all of your phone streaming needs.
Right? Droid Cam doesn't work on my computer right now because I don't know what I'm doing. I could drop it in Facebook. You can get it for the Facebook, right?
Perfect. There we go.
All right. Because that's how we got the link, right?
Link to the past.
Link to the now. All right.
A link
but I don't
between
know how to
worlds.
get that out of there. People are going to be like, I'm going to have to edit this because people are going to be bored with this and be like, oh, this is stupid. Why are you doing all this? Sorry. You can talk.
Good.
I wasn't trying to interrupt you. Oh, that's not it. All right. Anyways, you can continue if you want to.
Oh, I was just going to say that I have started to circle back to where I used to be in my life, where I felt like it was an accomplishment to skirt around saying the words that I wasn't allowed, like that I'm not allowed to say, by saying something way worse. By and like, I mean, because that was what I did. Like up until I was in my 20s. I mean, you never heard me say a curse word.
No.
But I would say the very offensive stuff. But it was all perfectly fine.
Yeah, but not cussing.
Yeah.
Anyways, all right. So I'm going to just put it on the screen, but I'll describe it to you because you can't see it. And people who did, I'll edit some of that. But anyways, if there's a cut, it's because I was trying to find a picture and put it up so that Jonathan could see it and then laugh at it too. But it's cupcakes. All right. Oh. And one of my friends recently, their friend sent them a picture in a group chat that they had that they work at an OBGYN. And on the cupcakes, they had it like vaginas, like designed on top of the cupcakes. And she was laughing and she was like, look at this. And I was like, what? And then I looked at it and I busted out laughing. And I was like, it's coochie cakes.
First of all, I have questions. I have a lot of questions.
All right. It was a person at work.
The picture would have definitely answered this. The picture would have definitely answered this. Yeah. Did they all look the same?
No, they were different.
Okay, good.
They were slightly different.
I would have. Yeah. Good. And alternatively, you could have been like, I've never seen roast beef cupcakes before.
Man, I just thought that you should know about that. That was a great.
My mom was, ran her baking business, and she was, very, very conservative. With stuff that she watched and consumed in her life. One day, long after she had passed away, I was going through some cookbooks and finding, I guess, part of her resume of featured cakes and things like that she thought was great, should be part of her repertoire if anybody wanted to order. And I found a very large penis cake with the hairiest balls I've ever seen. And I was like, Mom.
Oh.
Why are the balls so hairy, Mom? God. It was like a reverse afro. It was.
Oh, dang. Dude, that's too much. Oh my gosh. But who knows? Somebody probably was like having a bachelorette party and requested it.
Had to be.
Totally.
Had to be. But it was somebody that we know.
That's the weird
It was a
part.
small
Yeah,
town.
that's the weird
It was
part.
a small. Oh, that's the weird part.
And you
Okay.
know who you are, you person. If you ever watch this,
Yeah,
we know
exactly.
you,
You know,
and you know we know you. So that should make you feel like you have no clothes on in front of everybody.
and you called up my mama and said, "Hey, listen, I got some very specific specifications about a cake. Specifically, how are you
Hairy
with hair?
balls.
How are you with hair?"
Was it like sprinkles, or was it like
No,
something
I
that
mean she
looked
drew
kind
them
of,
in.
yeah?
She drew them in like
Oh,
curly, just right,
puby.
and like and the balls, they were flesh colored and wrinkly, but they were, I mean, that thin. She put some detail into those hairs coming
Jeez.
off. She piped them right on.
Wow. She went all out.
I mean, that's one thing that's what they came to my
Speaking
mom for, was
speaking of
quality.
wiener
So I
cakes,
guess,
all right. Speaking of wiener cakes, I heard the other day that taints are shrinking.
yeah, that's what I hear
Apparently,
too.
it's like a
That's what I
thing.
hear.
Yeah, but like, is that referring to like prostate problems, or just people's perineums getting smaller?
Yeah, no, it's the area, just the area itself is just shrinking, just
That's
marginally.
really weird. Like, why would that
It
happen?
is. I don't know, actually. I guess I should have looked it up, but
And why?
yeah.
And how can that area shrink whenever it's literally like,
Well, it's not like shrinking on you. It's not like over time. It's like, oh boy,
yeah,
it's like over time.
the next
Compare
generation of people have a smaller?
mine compared to my great granddaddy's. That's the,
I don't know, man. Science is weird. Why do we care about
yeah.
that kind of
Science
stuff,
is
right?
weird. It is weird that someone was like that. Somebody quantified that data.
How many people
That
did they you know what I'm thinking?
measure
Before they decided it
survey.
was a science project, how many people did they to realize that it was different?
Yeah, how many people noticed? Like, hey, Doc, could you do me a favor? Hang on, could you get over here, Doc? Could you get down here? Could you get the ruler, Doc? Could you?
You're being nicer than me, geez. I'm thinking about how many butts have they been right up in
I mean, I'm
investigating.
just saying,
Somebody had to be like into behinds, and then being like, like that being like a thing for them,
I
and
would
then
say,
at some point they're like, "Whoa,
Doc.
they're very different here. So what's going on?" And then they decide to sign this is a science project.
See, I would say you've got a lot of people that are like, they're obsessed. Like, people pluck their eyebrows, right? You know what I mean? Like, that are like, oh no, I do my eyebrows exactly like this, and I do this exactly like that, and I get down here and I manscape and I do this and I blah, and then all of this, like I feel like you got those people too, So who knows? Who knows where this data is coming from?
It's very strange.
But another thing that I've heard that another concerning thing that I've heard is shrinking, and it's a part of our brain as human beings, and it's the portion of our brain that has empathy.
Oh, and I think I believe that. Yeah.
That over the most recent studies are suggesting that there's been about like a 10% decrease in that
10%
portion.
decrease.
Ugh. That's
Yeah, like,
concerning.
but I mean, I see it evidently. Like when you go out in public, and used to, like, people older than us used to like nod your head. They'd nod their head back at least. Like it didn't have to be crazy, but they would at least nod their head back, or they'd say hey to you, or even shake your hand and not know you and stuff like that. But like now, dude, if you go to Target or somewhere, like you can like look at somebody and they'll look away from you instantly. And it's not even threatening. Like you're not sending out any kind of
Yeah.
microaggressions or anything like that.
Right. Yeah.
Like
It's
looking at
just
somebody's not a microaggression
right.
if
Yeah. I mean,
if you believe in those little things.
sure. I mean, You can have situations like where people stare at people, ogle people, do creepy stuff. Those are
That's just called
very
creepy, though,
specific.
isn't it? Isn't that just called
That's creepy
creepy?
stuff, right?
Yeah.
That's being creepy. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, but like just
Everything's not aggressive.
right. Yeah.
Creepy
There's
could be aggressive,
I,
or it could just be innocent.
I do feel like there is a push to kind of separate people from interacting, you know?
Yeah.
You don't want a lot of human face-to-face interaction, right?
Right.
Now, you definitely should interact with people online, interact online, be online and interact. And some of those people might be robots, but please ignore that. um, but do not talk to people in public. Do
No.
not. Please avoid human contact at all cost. Stranger danger.
Yeah, that's why,
I
like,
mean,
what pornography is illegal, really, right? But it's allowed to be everywhere, almost everywhere. Like in my state, they've got it to where you look at it if you want to, unless you like sign up for their service and then have your like, um, whatever you have to do. Like you have to verify that you are a grown up or something like that in order to be able to
sure,
look
sure,
at
sure,
that
sure, sure.
here. And there's other states that are doing that now. But like I
Mhm.
feel like it's been by design for that to be legal and available everywhere, even though it's technically illegal.
Yeah, I mean, sure, sure. I mean, but
But the reason I say that is because you were talking about being online and
mhm,
something like that, and people being like hooked on that and like being in their room or in their space alone. All they got to do is look at that, play video games, get into virtual reality, order pizza, DoorDash, all the things that they don't have to leave their house. They can work from home. You can get an online job. Like you could literally stay in this chair all day long if you wanted to and
yeah,
never get anything from anybody in real life ever. And it's all
yeah.
by design, I think.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I definitely agree with that. I mean, now in regards to, I mean, I'm no prude. I'm not in any way in favor of any type of like, you know, censorship of consenting adults doing consenting adult stuff. But I do think that you are right. Like there is like a push, like to make that like, oh no, don't you don't even have to worry about going out and forming human relationships with humans. Just stay here.
Yeah.
Just stay at home. Just stay at
Yeah.
home. I mean, you oh man, it's there's a lot of studies have really been coming out recently about how you know Gen Z really they have a hard time going out and dating.
Yeah.
Like they like having the public being in a space being like what we used to have to do be like, hey, would you like to go out sometime, would
Yeah.
you like to do being able to ask those types of like questions in person, they struggle,
Yeah. Well, I
which
mean,
is crazy.
I struggled too, but if you wanted to
I
have
get it, but
anybody
you
to
had to
hang out
do
with,
it.
you had to talk to them. If you wanted to go out with a girl, you had to say something to her.
Yeah,
If you didn't, you were like never gonna get a date. Just the way it worked.
yeah.
I mean, and now I guess they don't care if they get a date because everything they want and needs right there on a screen.
Oh yeah, I mean, and what's interesting though is, I mean, I work out in nightlife. Uh, Gen Z females are absolutely not that way. They can have
No.
a conversation.
Yeah, that's true. And you see a lot of them going after older guys, I think too. Like that's a thing that I've
Yeah.
read about recently
Yep.
because of that. I guess maybe
Yep.
because the guys aren't stepping up in their age range.
Yeah. So little little concerning.
Yeah, very
I mean, it's
concerning.
not. I guess it's not technically my problem, but
No, but like just for the future, man, like
for
people,
society, yeah.
yeah, people need to be strong and be mindful of what's happening in the world and not afraid and hiding and playing Call of Duty to escape reality.
Now, with that being said, I'll brag on Jay Reels Jr. a little bit. He absolutely he's Gen Alpha, and he kind of like looks at people who are super tech obsessed. I mean, don't get me wrong, he likes his video games, and he'll binge a series or whatever, like all of us.
Yeah.
But like he looks at like people that just are super tech obsessed and just that's their entire life as like, ooh, I don't want to be that.
No.
And that makes me pretty optimistic. And hopefully maybe that's like a good sign. Like maybe they're seeing it, the next generation, they're kind of seeing like, well, I don't want to go down this road. I'm seeing kind of some of this stuff with these adults that are people that are older than me going down this path, and I don't want to do that. So,
Man, what if to them, someone who's completely tech obsessed and completely just like not there is the same to them as like to us would be like somebody who's just spaced out on crack or something?
Yeah. I mean, I could see it.
So like if they equate it that way, then of course they don't want anything to do with it. Like they're like, okay, I don't want to do it too long because I don't want to be like that person. You can't even have a conversation with them.
Yeah, I mean, he'll make fun of somebody for scrolling on their phone for too long.
Oh yeah.
Like it's like, ugh, look at them. like like
he would
it's like
definitely talk crap about me then.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he gets me with it. If I'm, like
does he realize
right
that a
now,
lot of what you're doing is working though?
Oh no, he does. He does. Like
Yeah.
we'll discuss that. But like, yeah. If it ever starts to seem like I'm just doom scrolling, he'll call me out.
Oh yeah. That's called research. It's called research.
But
because if you don't know what's happening in the world, you can't talk about anything.
That's true. But you can't let that eat up your entire life.
No, you
gotta touch grass, as the kids say.
That's true. Yeah.
And
that's what we say around here.
He's I mean, I think it's interesting that like, CRT TVs are coming back around,
Are they
retro.
now?
Yeah. Oh man. Get on Facebook Marketplace right now and look up like a 24-inch RCA CRT TV. It's going to be like $200. Somebody's selling it to you. Upgrade your retro gaming setup, because that's what the next generation wants. They're like, if you've got an old school, like very functional, good CRT TV from back in the early 2000s, that's I mean, I've seen some of them $500, for like a 40-inch, like a flat screen, one of those like nice ones from like close to the end. Whenever they were still deep but flat.
Yeah.
Yeah, and still square. Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are like $500 now.
That's crazy, dude.
Crazy to me.
Yeah.
But it's because the kids, they love that kind of stuff. They are like looking back at the old games as like
the touch stuff.
Peak quality, and they want to be able to like put in, they want to be able to touch stuff, physical copies of stuff. Get a DVD.
Well, if you think about it, like all the games that are coming out now, I mean, what's GTA 6 going to be like? It's like they expand the world and expand the world and expand it some more until it's like, when's it going to be so much like real life that you can't even play the whole game?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, at this point, it's just like, so is the game even coming out? Like, or is it just like a pipe dream? Do we just talk about it? Is it like something we just strive as a society? We strive for a GTA 6.
I think you have to take ayahuasca and then it'll come out.
Yeah. 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 And then you take ayahuasca, and then it shatters the simulation.
You ride an alligator into Florida, and then you are in the game, and it's virtual reality, but it's more like the Matrix because you can feel it.
Yeah,
that's when it's going to come out.
Did you see that gator?
Yeah, dude, it was realistic.
With the tail.
Oh, you're talking about a real one
that was off.
What happened?
There's a gator kind of running around on the internet that I don't know what happened, but he does not have a tail at all, and he's just kind of like just like walking around in a city in Florida. Yeah. And it's the weirdest thing I've ever seen. Like, it looks like a reptile dog. Like, I don't know. I don't know.
Does it look like those things on the Ewoks movie? Or was that on Willow? Which one was that?
A little bit. Oh man, yeah. But if you look up the tailless alligator in Florida, it's like I've
You know
seen
what
it
I'm
all
talking
over the
about?
place
Those ugly
recently.
dog things. Was that on Willow or was that on Ewoks?
Oh,
It was a Lucasfilm
I don't.
movie.
That might
They
have been
looked
on
like
Willow.
almost like a hog, but they were like more dog looking with big sharp freaking teeth, and their mouths were elongated, and yeah,
Yeah, this is the weirdest thing, and so it can't swim.
can't swim.
You know, because
There's no
because
tail,
it doesn't have a tail, so
nothing
it
to
just
propel it.
runs. It's just running with these feet, and it's just like got no tail dragging behind it, so it's just lightweight and on foot,
This
trouncing
is on the
around the city
news.
in Florida. It's all over X.
Well, we'll have to get a clip of that video and like just show it while we're talking about it because that'd be funny.
Yeah, I'll find it for you.
I think that would be fair use, right?
Yeah, it's somewhere.
Probably, yeah.
It's the internet.
It's the internet. It's not like
Everybody's talking about it.
yeah, fair use. Yeah. So you were going to talk about something paranormal.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Well, no, I mean, so we touched on it one time, and I've always wanted to go
Your
down
penis is
this.
not paranormal.
We touched on that more than once. How dare you? I thought we had something. So we brought up one time that you and I were like, we were driving late night, and we saw something like kind of like run out in front of us
Mm-hmm.
on the road, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we definitely hit it.
Oh yeah.
And you know, that is like something that I absolutely never forgot.
Mm-mm.
Is it was on my, on my road right down from my house. But I wanted to remind you, or maybe bring up perhaps some other stories from around that time period and see if they ring a bell, and we'll go down that hole.
Sure.
So, all right.
You know,
So,
the, to describe that thing. All right, what movie was it that we used to watch where the shadows would run around and grab people? Was it They, or was
they,
yeah? That's what it
they,
reminded me of.
which by the way, I still maintain is one of the scariest movies ever made. It is an absolutely underrated horror movie. Wes Craven was a genius for it. It was so like psychologically horrifying.
Mm-hmm.
It did not get the praise that it deserved, and people should absolutely check it out retrospectively, and maybe it'll get a second run. Maybe it'll start, getting pushed, and people will be like, "Oh man, it's top streaming." Yeah, they look it up.
Yeah, for sure.
But okay, so you remember my childhood home? Small is very small, but you kind of remember the
Mm-hmm.
layout. You come in, and there was that long hallway, and to the right as you kind of came up into the hallway was it was my at one point it was my brother's room, and at one point it was my room. We kind of got bored with our rooms, and we'd flip flop, sibling stuff. But at the time, it was we were going to flip flop rooms. So his room was right here, and I was going to be flip flopping his room. And so he was going to stay with my grandparents in Tennessee. And down the hallway, all the way at the other end of the house, was the living room. You had to walk all the way down the hallway, past a bathroom, another bedroom, walk through the kitchen, living room, and then my parents' bedroom. So, it was just kind of it was mobile home kind of, layout, classic styles. You just stretched out. You this pretty good setup, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like fair. All right, I'm painting the picture. All right.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, one night, do you remember my dog, my dachshund Tori?
The one that was red?
It was not the red one, it was the black one.
No, I don't think so.
Okay. So that was the red one's mom.
Oh, I do remember that one. That one was like, never let me touch it.
Yes. So she was always very protective of me. And one night, my brother was staying in Tennessee, and I was going to be taking his room and transferring it into my room. So, like I said, one night, I was sitting in the living room, and she just would not sit with me. She stared down the hallway at that room all night.
That's odd.
And yeah, it was quite odd. And I'm thinking to myself, my dog never just stares and won't sit with me. This is quite concerning. She always sits with me. She's like, what, like, was like a lap dog. Well, like, had to be right next to me. It's a dachshund. You know how little dogs are. But she would not come. She wanted to just stared like something was down there. Now I'm starting to think, well, is something down there? So I get up. I go check on her. Hey, come with me. Pick her up. Look down the hallway. I don't see anything. Bring her back to the couch. Sit her with me in the living room. She gets off the couch, goes back, stares down the hallway. That's when
I would have put her outside.
That's when I heard I heard the radio, the stereo come on in my brother's room. And I went, what?
I would have been like that.
What just happened? And I'm like, that's weird. So I just get up and just walk down the hallway, go in and turn it off. And as soon as I hit the button, the stereo in the living room came on.
Do what?
And now I am incredibly freaked out. And I'm like, oh, okay, all right. Now, where am I supposed to go now? Nothing. No. This anticlimactic story. Completely. No ending. No ghost jumped out and got me. But I was incredibly freaked out. But that kind of stuff did happen to me a little bit. In that area where I grew up, there would be weird things that happened. I never told you that story?
No, dude.
That's crazy because I feel like I would have told you that. Because, I mean, like back then, I mean, we loved freaking each other out with a good, scary story late at night. And I definitely loved freaking you out before you had to drive home.
Yes, you did.
So, yeah. So I can't believe I never told you that. Well, how about this one?
Okay.
So, even earlier, this is probably one of my earliest memories. I would have been kindergarten age.
Okay.
Maybe a little older. I would say about 8. But that 8. Yeah, 8. Is that kindergarten age? What age is kindergarten?
Oh, dude, kindergarten's like 5 years old, 6.
All right, 8. All right, okay.
3rd grade's 8.
All right, I would say 7. I was about 2nd grade. Yeah, I was definitely not in 3rd grade.
Okay.
So, same room that the stereo came on. It was my room at the time. Mm-hmm. Like I said, we flip-flop rooms all the time. Get bored. I was asleep one night and I woke up and I had an odd feeling.
Okay.
And I looked to my left and there's a mirror on the dresser. And off to the side of the mirror, I see a kind of glow. And I just stare at it and think to myself, what could be causing that? Because that's not my nightlight. I don't know what could be causing that. What could be causing that? What is that light? I don't know what that is. I'm going to get up. So I get up out of my bed.
You do like the opposite thing that I would do every time.
So what would you do?
I would be like, I'm not moving. I'm not going to breathe. I'm going to try
I'm not going to stay in there.
I'm going to try to fall asleep.
I had to get out of there. I had to see if maybe somebody else had some answers. So I get up, I walk out of my room, start walking down the hallway, past the bathroom, past to where my brother's room is. And I say, all right, I just need to be with another human being. I don't care if it's my younger brother. I go into his room. I walk into my brother's room and I say, he's not in here. Well, where is he? So now I'm kind of freaked out.
Yeah.
So I turn back into the hallway. And when I do, I immediately freeze. Because that's when I see in front of me just a white figure with black eyes. I wasn't scared.
Okay.
It was not a menacing feeling or like danger or anything like that. Just white figure, indescript, black eyes, about my height, about the height of like a 7-year-old.
Yeah. You said
And we
black
kind of
eyes, not black guys.
black eyes,
Okay.
yes. And we lock eyes, and I realize that they have my favorite shirt on. And now I'm like, wait, what? Why do you have my shirt? And I reach my hand out, and from the ground up, they disintegrated and disappeared.
Was it like your shape?
It was my height and I would say shape-ish. I mean, like, it was very indescript, except the eyes, the bright glowingness of the body, and the shirt. And now I'm like, what? And I immediately run. And that's where I find my brother, who is asleep in my parents' room, and they send me back to my room. They're like, go back to bed.
It's too many. It's too many. But
And
dude, like, was it, if it was shaped like you, right? Then maybe was it like actually you from another part of the multiverse?
I wouldn't go that far to theorize, but I mean, perhaps. I mean, I don't know it, but what I do know is that it did make a profound impact on me.
Yeah.
Like, it did stick with me, and it was one of those things that always had me like questioning things, and like,
Well,
I
like, what do
would
you
bring
think
it
it
up.
was?
Well, I don't know what I think it is. I at one point in my life I thought maybe alien. I went down that portion of my grasping for
Maybe it
answers,
was an
but like
alien coming to your mom's house hoping that they could get a penis cake.
maybe it was. But I mean, like, I don't know. I ask adults and stuff like for thoughts and stuff, and nobody really ever took it seriously. And that but that kind of
They probably did take it seriously. They probably were scared that you saw a demon and they were like, I don't even want to talk about that.
I mean, maybe that's true. Maybe that's true, but I don't think there was anything I don't think there was anything nefarious though.
No,
It didn't
I'm not
seem
saying that there was for real, but I'm just saying like what people think.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. They're like, "Oh, I don't have answers. I'm going to jump to this conclusion and it's the worst possible conclusion. Let me just shut it down."
Yeah, let's just don't even talk to this kid about this thing. Nope.
Yeah. But I mean, but they're shutting down and like lack of like even attempting to like help a kid find answers definitely showed me how the world worked.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you know what I mean? It definitely made me see. I mean, that's just kind of like that's how society works, right? I mean,
you don't want to know the
it's
truth.
not just,
you just want to
it's not,
brush that thing up under that
it's not just kids.
couch.
I mean, it's everybody.
Yeah. I don't care what's really happening.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's everywhere.
So, let me think. Let me think if I got another one. I definitely got a lot of I mean, just weird situations would happen like that where in that area. And I don't know if it's the area, because I don't really believe in I don't believe in ghosts.
No?
Like, I legitimately don't. Like, I argue with people about it all the time.
I kind of do, but
because I know, and I feel like I'm supposed to, because all right, it's not that I don't believe in entities that are outside of this reality and perhaps crossing over into our reality.
But do you believe that the energy inside of you could basically be what is a spirit, what people call spirit?
I don't necessarily know if I don't know.
So
I don't know.
The way I look at it is like when I die, I don't actually die, but this meat sack that I'm actually in, the real me is in there somewhere. when this meat sack goes away, then I'm still going to continue in the
Yeah.
next part of life. Like, that's not really death. That's what I believe is the truth. So
Yeah.
if that's how I believe it, then wouldn't that mean that that's technically a spirit? And if it's outside of the body, like if it could interact with this dimension, then somehow that would be the same thing as a ghost?
Well, I don't necessarily think, I don't know if that once you leave this third dimensional space in this meat sack and you go past the fourth dimension and into the fifth and beyond, I don't think that you come back.
You don't think you can cross through dimensions?
I don't think that like what we are comes back.
Okay.
I don't that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I think there's other types.
I think consciousness is the infinite part of us.
Yeah. I don't think what we are like oh, here comes the old ghost of J-Reels, you know, like I don't think that I don't think comes back.
I get what you're saying. Like, but at the same time, maybe we would.
It would be fun.
Maybe if we wanted to say something to somebody,
idea.
we would try to reach out as something familiar to them.
Maybe, but I would say that maybe, yeah, like I would say maybe not like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know that, and I think that's the fun part about being human. You don't know stuff.
Dude, speaking of like weird stuff, I saw this video today on a Sasquatch group, and it was like an AI video where the Sasquatch was speaking, and like he's like walking through the woods talking about like, you know, have you seen it?
Yeah,
I've seen some of these. This like tube, like a tunnel or whatever. He opens it up and he's like, "Oh, there's lights down there." It's like they forgot how to be natural or something. He's like, it's like I'm trying to remember something I'm supposed to forget. And like the language he's using like that, it's like, dude, it's kind of like what life is, isn't it? Whether you're a Sasquatch or a human, like it's like they want you to forget something about being human. That's why they got all this technology.
No, that's for sure. That's absolutely true. Have you seen kind of similar with AI video? Because there's been a lot going on since Google's AI video just launched the new, what is it, VO3? I believe. So it just launched, and that's what they're using to make these Bigfoot videos, I believe. And is
there a subscription too?
Oh yeah, it's an incredibly high price, but it's super realistic.
Yeah.
And so there's these other videos that are floating around. Have you seen the prompt theory videos? Okay, so I love this as a form of artistic expression, but it does scare me bad. So somebody started this trend. I don't know who did it, but they were a genius for doing it.
Okay.
They made a compilation video. They realized that what the new Google model was very good at doing was creating hyper realistic, like cell phone man on the street interview style videos. Like you were just talking to a real person.
Right.
So they made long compilation videos where they were interviewing AIs about what it's like to be an AI living in the fake world, knowing that their existence is not real, and what it's like to know that the prompter is in control of their life and they have no free will, and like asking these real big existential questions to a video model.
Right.
And then getting the video model's response. And the videos are concerning.
Yeah, dude, some of that stuff's really scary.
So yeah, if you haven't heard of prompt theory, maybe keep it that way. You'll sleep better at night.
Jeez,
but what really freaks me out is that, you know, these videos, these hyper realistic realities that, you know, these AIs are talking about and then having like an existential crisis in, like they have to be imagined. And that's what the new model is good at, is imagining the entire reality around the individual. So that way it is realistic.
Yeah.
And what freaks me out about that is that just not even 6 months ago, Google's Willow stumbled upon being able to access the multiverse, and we've just stopped talking about that.
What?
And so, is that where this new AI video model is operating?
Yeah, dude. What? That's wild. So that's what quantum computing supposedly is.
Yeah, Willow. Yeah. So Willow did. That's how. Like Willow was able to. You should
So
give that horrifying
whether this
paper.
is literal or not, just think about it. Even if it's just so, like, it's easy to understand, which is what's scary. If it's not actually doing it, what this quantum computer is doing is it is running in real time every single possibility that could play out for all eternity through probabilities, which is the same thing as it being real, right?
So I think that's I would say that is such an oversimplification that it might even make it muddy, but that's honestly the best you can do as far as like an explanation, without having like, a detailed understanding of all of
Yeah,
this.
for my
But like,
stupid little brain, that's all
yeah,
I can think of is
yeah,
that's what's
it's
happening.
yeah.
So
But
if it's
so
actually
what it
real, then there's a multiverse and it's like spiritually working. But if it's only scientific and it's only just computer, it's literally running probabilities to run in real time everything that could ever possibly happen.
so what the white paper claims that it was able to do is essentially yeah, that, but it's a problem that was so long that it would take longer than the existence of time to run the problem.
Right.
So that's what they crafted initially, was an algorithmic problem that was so complicated there wasn't enough time in the universe to solve it.
Right.
Then gave it to a computer that they this is where it gets weird. It's not like they were just running like a little PC. They dropped it
It's like a
into
warehouse computer, right?
they dropped it into a temperature below the temperature of outer space. And there was a very specific amount of electromagnetic energy that had to be fired at it. And like this whole very specific order of events. All of these things had to be done
Sounds
just
very
right.
esoteric, doesn't it?
Yeah. And they did it. And it was able to answer a problem that in less than 5 minutes that would have taken longer than the existence of reality.
Have I ever?
And then that computer, the same people that built that computer also have an AI creating realities, and people are interviewing the people inside of it.
That is insane. So have I ever talked to you about how I believe that science is the same thing as sorcery? Like modern, like technological science is the same thing as sorcery?
I would say
Have I ever talked to you about that?
You haven't talked to me about that.
The reason I think that is because, all right, you're mixing a bunch of metals, right?
Just technomancy.
A whole bunch of metals, and then you like create formulas, spells, and you come up with all these things, right? That have to work together. It's alchemy and craft and sorcery. All creates this block of glass and metal that I can look at you on. And it's transferred through telepathy, television, internet, communications.
Yeah, that's a pretty fair assessment.
Isn't that wild?
But yeah, the term is technomancy is the term for.
I have not heard of that. I'm going to look that up. Technomancy.
It's actually a concept recently. Do you remember the band The Gorillaz?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Specifically that song, Clint Eastwood. All right. That song, fire. back in the year 2000, that was that like melted my brain. You know, like that was one of my favorite songs of all time. So the rapper on that is a rapper, Del the Funky Homo Sapien, and so he is quite experimental, and I don't know why. I guess because I just, lack of access, lack of internet and stuff like that back in the day. I never thought to maybe I should give him a shot.
Yeah.
Check him out as an artist until recently.
Okay.
And so he's, as an artist, like super high concept, kind of like the Gorillas, like the Gorillas is as artistically, like I feel like there's not really anything that touches what they do. They've nailed the cartoon band, and they'll always be the cartoon band.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Very fun to watch and listen to.
Yeah.
I've never seen them live though. I'd love to do that.
Oh man, they'd be amazing to see live.
Isn't that isn't that the other guy too? Woohoo! And I've got nothing at all.
So he's in Blur.
Blur, yes.
Blur, the Gorillas is Blur.
Right, that's what it is.
They just became the Gorillas and added an art director and then started going down a different path. And I think it was the right decision. But Del the Funky Homo Sapien was brought in. He's on quite a few Gorilla songs, but he's like super high concept, got his own, like, I guess not cinematic universe, but like conceptual universe that he does stuff in. And a lot of it has to do with technomancy. And so that's what so they apparently super highly regarded as an artist, Del the Funky Homo Sapien.
Be careful with what you say right now.
Yeah, I know, right? Del the Funky Homo Sapien. His alter ego is Deltron Zero.
Okay, you got it out without any naughty words there.
But he's got like 2 albums that are in like one specific universe, and apparently there's a third one coming up very soon. But like the last one had like the Lonely Island.
Oh, cool.
And
were they on a boat?
Joseph Gordon-Levitt was on it as like the narrator, and like the guys from Rage Against the Machine are on it, and it's like got like this alumni cast, and it's all like in this like universe, and they're all playing characters, and it's like such a crazy like concept album.
Yeah.
So this is me recommending it to you.
I'll check them
because
out.
I really wish I would have found it earlier. Like in my life, like I wish I would have found it like 25 years ago.
Yeah, dude. I'll have to definitely check that out. That sounds like some fun music. I recently found Lil Russell. He may be popular to everybody else, but to me, he's new. And I found him because I was like trying to post this short or story, and you put the music in it, and it's like just a picture of something. And I was like, we go on places or something, and like I was looking for a song that said that, and he had a song that matched it. And like he's got an album called Sobriety. Yeah. And it's literally about like working your butt off to get somewhere, and so that you can like be free to be you. And that's how he became a rapper. So yeah, it's a pretty cool album. Yeah, I mean, I was have you heard of Lil Russell?
I think only through you.
Okay.
Yeah. I was talking to somebody today, and they're a comedian, and they were talking. They're young, 25, and they were talking about like, a few more years, I think I'll be able to like try and pursue this full time. And I'm like, buddy,
you better start right now.
Do it right now.
Yeah.
He goes, yeah, but I got stuff going on. I'm trying to build my business with this. I'm trying to do that, because that's what my job is, and blah, blah. I'm like, I get it. But
no,
you want to do this, right? I'm like, do you have kids? No.
Do it now.
Do it now.
Don't wait till you have the kids.
Now.
Yeah, it's so hard now.
Do it now. So I hope he, but I was telling him like, dude, the only thing holding you back is you. It's like, you work for yourself.
Yeah.
You work for yourself.
Yeah.
Like you're saying like your clientele's here, and I would do better in a different area if I moved. Okay, well move.
Yeah, move right now.
Work for yourself.
What are you doing? Do what you have to do to make it. And
go for it.
If I make it, I don't mean be famous. I just mean like do what you love, and earn a craft out of it. Make it a craft so that you can make a way. people will compensate you for entertainment if they enjoy it. They want you to keep making it.
I mean,
dude.
I bring him up as like an example all the time, but like, and I hate to do it, but I look up to him. Like Vermin's been doing his stuff for 40 years.
Yeah.
And he just like, and it has been his entire life, and he has a completely happy life. And, you know what I mean? Like he's more famous than a lot of people, but like, he's not like, you know what I mean? It's not like he's swimming in,
You can ask somebody,
but
have
like,
you heard of Vermin Supreme? And they're like, no. But like, then
no,
you ask
but
the
some
random
people
person
do.
and they're like, oh yeah, I know who that is. He's awesome. You get the 1 out of 10 or
Right.
2 out of 10 that know who he is. And it's like, okay,
And he's made a life out of it.
It's enough to make
And
a
he's
living.
had a happy life.
Yeah.
And he's had,
Does he do comedy shows?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's mostly what we did when we were up on, up in, Delaware, New Jersey, and stuff like that. Is during the day we would go around and just meet people.
Yeah.
Because, that's a lot of fun,
Oh,
I mean, like when you got a guy with a boot on your head and like I'm running around doing, I don't know what I was wearing.
Getting
fairy
ponies
wings
for everybody.
Yeah, it was so much fun. And then at night, there would be some sort of club and we'd have a show. He's does musical comedy. Yeah.
Oh, cool. I really need to do some investigation on him. Maybe then he would come on my show and talk to me if I were to do it.
I'm telling you, man, you got to check out that documentary.
I do need to. I forgot about that documentary, honestly.
It's honestly like such a good documentary. Like Vermin will tell you, like, it's gonna propagandize you and it's gonna make me look way cooler than I really am. Like he really tries to be humble about it. He really tries to be humble,
but he knows that
because really when you watch
shows you who he is.
Oh man, it really does. And even as good as it does capturing his like true, kind, real spirit and who he is as a person, it still doesn't truly capture it until you're right there with him, and you just like, you can feel it when he walks into the room. You may not even see him yet. You're looking the other way, and all of a sudden he walks into the room, and the energy just changes behind you. Oh, what's going on back? Oh, Vermin Supreme's here, because he's just, it has just something about him.
That's really cool, magic. Though, yeah. No, I'd like to talk to him. I'd like to meet him. Excuse me. My face is itchy. What were we just talking about, though?
Chasing your dreams and not letting anything hold you back. Like I said, I was just giving you an example. He did it.
Yeah.
He chased his dream and he became president.
He did.
Of the other timeline.
The other timeline. There would have been 3 different timelines if we went with that story. I'm going to stop now. But yeah, I don't know. I've been flirting with the idea of doing stand-up.
Do it. The only thing holding you back is you.
Do you know? That and fear.
No, yeah, and it's going to suck. Don't get me wrong. You're going to get up there and it's going to suck. Like we've had this conversation before. You've said that you've gone up and been on stage and man, that sucked before. Yeah. And you're like, I can do it. Yeah, but like it hits a little different. It
does hit a little different. I did start kind of writing down stuff so that I could talk about it. I don't know if I'm making any good bits out of it, but like airports. I was in the airport and I was thinking about it, like they all the time they're coming over there in the car and they're just boarding now. And you're like, am I supposed to get on the plane? And I'm maybe right now, am I supposed to? And then you go up there and then they're like, and you can see the sign says, "Oh wait, no, that's Group 1," and that's for the other airline, not yours. Yep. All right. Take 2. All right, cool.
You should probably do like a clap right now so you can resync your audio because you're gonna have a. There we go.
You're right. I usually just have a good time playing with it and figuring that out. But you're right with that clip. Probably be good to. All right, so yeah, you get to the airport and it's like, this is boarding now, and like I've just come to the conception that the exception that I'm never going to know what's going on when I'm flying. because then you get on the plane and they're like, if you know the seatbelt, fly from the front, someone will fall from the and we'll be flying and we're going to have a turbulence and then I'm like, oh, also they're like, do not take off your seatbelt until the seatbelt light goes off, and then like you never hear the ding.
Mm-mm.
It never goes off, and then all of a sudden you hear, all right, that seat light belt's about to come back on now, and you didn't put your seatbelt back on. Don't get up, and I advise you not to be walking around the cabin. And then all of a sudden, you see people going back to their seats that were not, they were buckled in 2 seconds ago. I don't know how they got up and got to the bathroom that fast, but I never can go to the bathroom when I'm flying because I don't know when I can get out of my seat.
Yeah. I just assume I can't.
Yeah. So I hold it a lot, and then eventually I'll like get really desperate, and I'll just like when I see somebody get up, I'll run and try to get to the bathroom before they do, and then they usually want to punch me because I'll lock the door behind, and they can't go.
No, I agree. These airport announcements are a problem, and I bet if we could understand them, then I would have known perhaps that maybe they were going to backhand Mr. Peepers. Maybe that's what they were telling me. Please don't bring your buttons to the airport.
For real. And then, like, so then like on the way home, like we were getting on the next flight, and like we had to wait like 3 hours because of like tornadoes and stuff in our area. And so we get on the plane, and I'm sitting there and I'm hot, and I'm like, man, it's stuffy in this little Coke bottle plane. And I'm just, there's like one seat next to me, and we're sitting in the double seats in the little mini aisle. And the lady keeps hitting me with her butt when she walks by, like just slamming her butt. And she's like, she got a gat, and she keeps whacking me with it when she walks by. And I'm just like, Jesus Christ, this plane's small, and I'm hot. And then I look up and I forgot, like I literally was just on another plane and forgot that you have to unscrew the cap to get some air.
Mm-hmm.
And so like I did that, and then I'm like, oh yeah, baby, blow that right on my face.
Do you like to sniff it?
And
I
don't know what you're talking
like
about.
the air, when the air is like blowing out of that little tube thing on the airplane, that I like to smell it.
Oh. No, I don't. But I was just like, I did that, and I was like, oh God, yes, blow that on my face. And this old lady sitting like diagonally.
So you got to blow it on your face. You're not sniffing it while it's blowing on your face?
No.
All right.
Are you going to keep interrupting my story? Shut up. Okay. This is not the Leroy story. We're not talking about chocolate drop of the day.
All right, go for it.
You're about to ruin my punchline. You stupid heckler. Are you doing this on purpose?
No. I wasn't meaning to. Now I'm listening. We've got an audience. Right. We're listening.
So yeah, I turned it on, and it's blowing down. It's blowing on my face, and I'm like, yeah, baby, blow that on my face. And this old lady, she's like sitting diagonally in front of me at the seat across the aisle, turns around and glares at me. And I'm like, what? I can't enjoy the air conditioning? And then I realized what she was thinking. I was like, shame on you for knowing what that is, Grandma. And then I also was like, how can you judge me for something that you're guilty of saying yourself?
Obviously she knew.
She had to know what it meant.
Granny was a freak.
Right. So that was my story. Was
blow it on my face? Oh no, blow it on my face. That was funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. I laughed. So sorry, I didn't mean to mess up your punchline.
You kept jumping on my punchline. I'm like, damn.
I thought we were just talking about the airplane.
No, I was trying to tell you my story because I've been writing down funny stuff that's happened lately so that I could, kind of come up with some material maybe.
I do love the smell of an airplane vent, though.
And I ever honestly thought of smelling.
Oh, it smells different. Oh, yeah. And sometimes...
You mean like that oxygen smell?
Yeah.
I'm just used to it from being in the hospital so much.
Maybe that's it.
It literally just smells like being in a hospital to me.
Maybe that's it. But like, there's like that, when you go in there, you ever get on, like, right when they first, like the fog, that weird fog is still out in the plane. Like,
oh God, that freaked me out the other day. I was like, what are they gassing us with here?
Yeah, I like it.
You think it's a little bit of laughing gas to
I
keep you
don't
from
know.
getting
I don't know
nervous?
what it is, but I like it.
Could be laughing
It
gas to
could
keep you from
be.
getting nervous,
Maybe that's
man.
why. Like I'm always like,
Calms you down.
yeah, I'm always like, come on, let me board first. Let me in there when the gas is out.
Yeah,
Come on,
from that gas.
give me some. Hey, give me some of that gas.
What if they actually put gas in it? Like not gasoline, but like the gas.
Yeah.
And then they got everybody all toked up and you were just flying to Jamaica. And as soon as you get off the plane, you're ready to go.
Maybe that's what that pilot did. Maybe he got us gassed up and then we really were not making good time. Like we were just enjoying it. We were just enjoying it.
Just enjoyed it. Yeah. Did I tell you about the time that I got free drinks on the plane?
No. How'd you do that?
No.
Is it a cheat code?
So, because, well, the flight attendant thought that I was gay.
No. Cheat code. Yeah. Cheat code. Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
I guess so. Because so me and this guy that I worked with, we got sent to training in Nashville. And on the way back, we both kind of had nice clothes on and we're dressed, decent. He had dreadlocks and stuff, like they were on like a ponytail. And I can't remember how I had my hair, but, had my beard groomed and everything for the trip because I wanted to look good because I was going to be with leaders in the organization that I worked with. So then on the way back, this big black teddy bear man with a nice vest on and everything clean, he got his fingers manicured and like his beard was perfect and his,
Mm-hmm.
You could tell. He walks up and he like says something about the two of us boys and winks at us. And we looked at each other like, And so we kind of realized that he thought we were a couple.
Mm-hmm.
And so then like, as we go through, he's like, when we get ready for the drinks, I got the two of you. And so then whenever they came by, he asked us what we wanted. We told him and he paid for it and gave us a couple of drinks. Then on the way back,
never turned down a free drink.
And then listen, and then the second time he came by before the flight was going to land, he's like, I got two more for y'all. And brought us two more.
Hey, that was your friend. That was your friend.
So yeah, that happened. And speaking of gay, have you heard of Echo Church?
No, I have not.
All right. So I was like scrolling through Facebook the other day.
Mm-hmm.
And I happened to see this like pastor on a mega church pastor stage, just like, doing their production. And he was speaking to the men in his church and said, if your wife has to work a job and can't stay home and take care of the kids, why are you gay? And I was just like, are you kidding me? How is that even? This is a church. And this wasn't taken down.
How is that helpful? Right?
How is it helpful at all?
Right. How, like, that's the real question here. Like, not, let's just ignore the fact that it's actively hurtful. Like,
and awful.
And yeah, like, let's just start with the question, how is that helpful? Because that is your job as a pastor, right? That's what you're
right.
Like you're
to be helpful and guide people to live a better life.
Right. How is that helpful?
And I don't know if he's looked at the economy lately, but like it's pretty much ain't possible if both people don't work. It's difficult.
Yeah. This economy got me gay as hell. God.
I mean, for real, dude, like that's just, I don't even know where that logic came from. And like, why is it being pushed by the algorithm and stuff? Like, that's disgusting.
Honestly, because it's disgusting and the algorithm kind of thrives on that.
Yeah, I guess so.
People,
the ugly part of humanity.
I mean, that is what, if you want to be successful and like immediately on social media, just engagement farm with hate. Like that's the surefire way to get views. That's what people do all the time. And it says something very sad about humanity for sure.
Yeah, and that person's character too.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Says a lot about them, but they're rewarded for it. So
Very much, yeah. True. Very true. Well, do you feel like giving me a politics lesson?
I guess we can talk about politics, but I don't really want to. I hate politics is real nasty right now. You know?
Well, I don't care about modern what's happening right now. Like, I don't like anything that's.
Yeah,
I don't know
fair.
that I like
Okay.
anything that's
All right.
happening right now. But what I'm getting at is, we were talking the other day about how liberal and
Oh,
conservative
yeah, how
and
like
all
the
that
words
stuff
are
wasn't
co-opted
like
and
actually right what they mean. And I feel like it would be helpful for me, at least, to understand a little bit more about what things do mean
yeah,
or what it actually is, because you seem to know a lot more than I do. And being that you ran for vice president
I
with
don't
Vermin Supreme, I feel like you had a little bit more authority on it.
I don't know a lot.
Because I don't know if you know this, but you have to have authority to talk about these things.
Oh, yes, yes. You must have authority.
If you don't have the authority to talk about it, then what are you even doing?
Yeah. So, I would say all right. So, these definitions are pretty they're pretty like easy to look up. I mean, it's not controversial information, but liberal I think is what started the conversation between you and I about this subject. I think was that term.
Yeah, and you said that liberal doesn't
It
mean
doesn't mean what we think it
what
means,
what
right?
we think it means,
Right. So
and that was confusing.
pretty
So I
much
was like,
every
"What?"
one of our founding fathers would have considered themselves a liberal. That's how they
Okay,
that's what they called themselves. And a lot of their philosophy was what modern politics we kind of point at as like libertarianism, that kind of stuff,
okay,
limited government, that kind of mentality is liberalism. That is
okay,
like that is that philosophy of like self empowerment rather than like authoritarianism. That kind of thought was coming from the liberal school of thought. It's like the liberal arts, well, hang on, what are the liberal arts? There's like a very specific, what are all the liberal arts?
that's the arts where you can get naked whenever you get painted.
Let's see, hang on. There's a very specific category of in the United States. What do we call it? But yeah, there's a very specific category of like liberal arts and stuff like that. But it's not. Honestly, a lot of it doesn't even have to do with art. I mean, it'll be like philosophy and those kinds of things are
Oh yeah,
in a liberal arts degree.
okay.
Um, Now, is a liberal arts degree something that is like super useful outside of like talking about it?
Knowing some stuff?
No,
No.
no. Okay. But does it mean exactly like what we in America call like liberalism, or like the media really calls like, oh, the liberals, they really, if you're conservative, that means like progressive. That's if you are a like socialist, calling somebody a liberal is absolutely an insult. If you are far left in the
Mm-hmm.
Democratic Party, if somebody calls you a liberal,
Mm-hmm.
you will get angry. Like,
Really?
yes, like
Why?
if
Why would they get angry about it though?
because they
Because
they
it's not what they
they're
are.
not. They look at liberals as a problem, as like
Really?
too far to the right, even centrist. Like if like I would say like an AOC, that kind of the squad. They
Mm-hmm.
would be very upset if you called them liberal.
Really?
Yeah. Um,
Hmm.
so, but with that being said, the conservative media absolutely will call, it's all liberals to them, right? Uh,
Yeah.
but and it's synonyms with progressivism, socialism, all of those. It's all one bad word. When in
Right.
reality, it becomes a lot more like muddy because you have a lot of people that are on the conservative side, the very far extreme conservative side,
Right.
that call themselves nationalist. And people say, well, what's wrong with being a nationalist? We care about our country. We love our. Okay, well, if we're being specific about definitions, we had a very, very powerful nationalist party that was in power. And they also were another philosophy lumped together, and that was the National Socialist Party of Germany, aka the Nazis.
So it's kind of the same thing.
It's the same thing. Because you can't have nationalism without socialism. You have to socialize it first for it to be nationalized.
Okay.
For the nation to take control and be in control of the economy, it has to be socialism or communism. So when you have like the far right that are like, oh, we can't have socialism in this country. We need some nationalism. It's like,
oh God,
it's like, okay, what are we doing here? Like, you guys. It becomes very apparent that they're both bought and paid for by the same people, right? It's just propaganda.
Yeah. So basically, a liberal could be in either party.
Yes. Yeah.
Because a liberal just wants to be left alone.
Right. Yeah. One of my friends ran against me for Congress. He did not get his party's nomination, and he considered himself a classical liberal. I sat with him and had a meeting while he was still running in the primary, and I wished him the best of luck in the Democratic Party. And I said, I really hope that you get your party's nomination, and you and I can have a lot of very substantive debates about how we can move forward and like find real solutions. But I'm not optimistic that they're going to pick you because, and they didn't. And I told him the same thing. I was like, maybe consider running in another party. And he said, in what party? And he said, I, for all my life, considered myself a conservative, but I can't run in the Republican Party because he's an Indian American, and he feels like he's judged and looked down upon, and like there's like, some unspoken racism behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And so he's like, all right, well, I'll just try to bring limited government to the Democrats. Maybe they'll listen. No, nobody's going to listen. Nobody's going to listen. Liberal is a bad word to everyone.
Yeah. That's interesting that we seem to, as a majority of the country, not want to be controlled by the government.
But we've been told.
We vote one way or the other and never decide that we want to just like maybe be libertarians.
And that's
maybe we just want to.
In the 70s, the writing was kind of already on the wall as far as like liberalism being redefined, and actually even all the way into the 60s. And libertarianism, the term actually was birthed out of even farther, like more close to like the anarchy circles than out of like classical liberal side. And the classical liberals and the anarchists, I wish I remembered the name of the agreement, but it was in the early 70s. They basically had an agreement that said, all right, we're going to put our differences aside about how small we want the government for right now until we get it to like how small you guys want it. And then we can argue about how getting it down to how small we want it.
Right.
And I can't remember the name of like the agreement that they all sat in a room and a few different organizations, and that kind of birthed the American libertarian movement. But it was like out of a rebranding, since liberal has for quite a while already been on the path of being a no word to both sides.
Yeah.
And
that's interesting, isn't it?
And it literally is
weird.
What this country is founded upon, like
liberty and freedom. Yeah, I mean, like, so I've seen people that were in one party, recently switch over, and I've seen other people that, were staunch in one way, go the other way, and it's like, and like what we're talking about being in the middle, it's like we just kind of, as a nation, are more like in the middle than the leadership that we've seen lately, and it's like if we could just come out and realize that and wake up. Just wake up and realize what's happening. And I feel like people kind of are sort of coming out to that realization, but like not enough people or more people need to. And people just need to like say, hey, wait a second, I don't want to vote for either of these clowns.
Yeah, and the way you have that realization in the real world, I feel, is just having conversation with the people. Like online, it's all polarization and disagreements and like, oh God, everybody's so different and we don't get along and blah 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 blah. We're fighting, but in the real world, 80% of Americans agree on 80% of things.
Yeah. I mean, I don't agree with anarchy being like, because like, so this is the thing I don't agree with about that.
Mhm.
And you can tell me why I'm wrong if I'm wrong. But like, I think that there should be somebody to investigate if somebody gets murdered.
Mhm.
I think that there should be someone to stop people from actively killing other
I do
people.
too.
But I just don't think that it should be um, stop you from all freedoms that aren't going to hurt anybody else.
Yeah, we haven't. Where are we disagreeing?
I don't know. Well, then how? To me, anarchy is like Mad Max, and
Yeah, because it's been
everybody with
defined as that.
the guy with the biggest guns
It's
wins.
been defined as that. It's
Then how do you get to the real anarchy?
you've it's been defined as that on purpose, because
Right.
you have to have a reason for them to have control. If you understand that society does function, people have relationships and handle societal problems on their own better without, if the government was not there, the people would handle it faster and better on their own. We would find the solution quickly on our own. And I this is why one, I really 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 want you to have Vermin on your show, because
Yeah.
he is part of an organization called the Rainbow Gathering, and it I'm an anarchist, and it scares me. Vermin tells me that I should go, and I have met a lot of people that do go, and they tell me that I should go, and they're the nicest people, and they're always like sweet old people, and I'm like, okay, great. But what about the other anarchists? Because I've heard some other crazy stories. Because like
So is it like
what they
what's
do.
the fear though? Is
All right.
this like a David
So
Koresh
what
kind
it
of
is,
fear, or is this some other kind of fear?
it's a national organization. And what they do is everybody who's in it, they tell you when it is, and they pick a large area of area that you can go camping in, and they let the local law enforcement know that a very, very, very large number of people are going to be showing up in that area, going to go camping for a extended period of time, and that they are going to govern themselves as their own city because it's the population of an entire city. And they do.
Oh
They
dang.
kind of get left
Yeah.
alone because you're not going to be able to control it unless you like. It's just they're out in the woods, and they handle their stuff within. There is no centralized organization. They have been operating as a unit, and it functions within the chaos without organization. It functions through the humanity. It like, even when something bad happens, the goodness in everybody's intentions overall figures out a
Mm-hmm.
solution and fixes it. Like, you have situations where people were robbing someone, bad stuff going
Mm-hmm.
on. They figured out what was going down, who was doing it, how to, like, everything just functions. There's a council, there's people handling, making sure everyone goes without going hungry. Nobody is ever hungry. Like, they have people doing every possible function of society, cleaning latrines, making sure everything functions out here in the woods so everybody can have a good time. And there's no organization and there's no boss.
That's interesting.
And they've been doing it for many, many, many years. And like, I wish I have no clue how long. I mean,
Where
definitely longer than Vermin's been running for
what do they
president.
do? Like why do they get together? What's it about?
Togetherness.
Yeah.
That's everybody gets together, they see each other, and they have different campsites doing different things, and that some areas they have like music going on. They'll have performances. Vermin runs around. Vermin actually, I think, does security, but he dresses as a
Really?
clown. He's just a clown the whole time, so that way it diffuses any situation. Like if there's something bad going on, the clown shows up to try and diffuse it.
That's wild. And do they like have people that bring drugs and do
Oh
things
yeah,
that are just
absolutely.
like,
Yeah. People.
yeah,
Yeah. Yep. And somebody will get too high, and there'll be a problem, and they'll have to figure out how to deal with it.
yeah,
And it always goes back to the central question of like, you can't initiate force on anyone.
right.
You cannot
So
use
violence is
violence.
not
Violence
allowed
is
at
not
it.
an option. If violence is
What if
happening,
someone there is fighting?
you've got to stop the violence. You got to, and now it's like, all right, we think you need.
What if people bring weapons?
We think you need to go. If there's a problem, they make it
Mhm.
clear. Like as an entire unit.
So you become a deserter.
The entire
Or
society
not
will
deserter.
make it clear, we don't want you here. You should leave.
Yeah. What's that word called? Exiled. You get exiled?
Yeah, they will exile you. But it's not forced.
Okay.
They're not going to remove you. They will make it like, hey. Like I think Vermin told me, like, it was kind of like he was like kind of like heckling someone until they left.
Yeah.
Interesting. You're robbing someone? What do you like, what's wrong with you?
That's crazy. So they
make you so uncomfortable. It's just like, I don't even want to be here anymore.
So what if we just let people do whatever they wanted to do, and if they did something or tried to do something harmful, we just exiled them from society?
I think it's a viable option.
But what happens if you exile, like, I don't know, 30,000 people, and those 30,000 people get together and create their own society?
We're talking about Australia?
Yeah. I guess you get a lot of surfers.
Yeah. Now, with that being said, all right, so I want to be clear. This is that's one community, and that's functioning as one community. Mm-hmm. And the idea of anarchy is that you can have lots of different communities with lots of different ideas, and some communities are going to work better than other communities. And sometimes people are going to go, I hate it here. I am leaving, and you guys all suck. This community sucks. And they're going to go somewhere else, and they're going to tell everybody there just how bad that other community is, and they're going to learn, oh, we don't want to go down that road. And society is going, like, that's humanity. Like, that's humanity functioning as humans rather than like as we're not
a giant machine making a couple people rich.
Yes. And so you would have situations where maybe there's some cities like LA, New York, San Francisco, some of these incredibly like progressive socialist cities, maybe that's the route they go. And maybe that's the world that the people there sign up for, and people live there. And that's fine, because I'm not going there.
Right.
But I can be in my little small community, and I can be putting positive things out into the world, being like, hey, if you believe the way that we believe, and you want to see the world be a positive place, and you put that kind of stuff out there, you're going to have other people that come join your community. And of course, there's going to be bad people that take advantage of you, and you're going to have to figure that stuff out. There's always going to be problems. Like, no one has ever claimed that anarchy was easy. But I do think that it's overall probably better than what we have now. And
that makes sense. No, when you put it that way, and I understand what it kind of more or less is.
It's more of, we should just turn everything the other way around. The power should be in the local community, and your local community should be where we figure out how to solve problems. When there's somebody who's hungry, and there's people who need homes, and there's problems in your community, someone in Washington is going to do a real bad job of figuring out how to solve it.
Right, because they don't know what's actually happening.
Yeah.
And to put some kind of blanket law in place that makes everybody have to, it's kind of like whenever you've got the kids doing the thing and one of them does something stupid, so you punish all the kids in the whole school because a couple of kids that decided they wanted to do something stupid.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. Take away the fun for everybody else because they weren't doing whatever, abusing the freedom that they had.
Yep.
So you could still have a jail, you could still have a prison.
Oh yeah, some communities are absolutely. Some communities are going to absolutely have to go down that route. I don't know if I would want to, you
wouldn't have to live in that
I don't
community.
Have to live
though.
In that
That's
community.
not the life for you. Don't live in there. But isn't that the way that it used to be?
Yes.
Even here? Like
yes.
You could choose which city to live in because of the reputation that city had.
Yes, that it seems like we've gone away from what this country was founded on, and it seems like terms have been rebranded to keep you away from realizing that you're not living your fullest human life.
Yeah. I feel like that's true because even in my lifetime, like as a kid, I remember being like, oh, well, you don't want to live in that town, but this town's okay. And some people did want to live in that other town, Some people used to say, never go to Atlanta. Atlanta's the worst place to go because it's crime. But then when I would go to Atlanta, I liked Atlanta.
I love Atlanta.
And, I would be willing, and I am willing sometimes to, go to a bigger city like that and take the risk that something could happen because there's something there that I want to experience. Mm-hmm. I don't know that I want to live there though, but I have that choice.
Yeah. I mean, even whenever I lived in Atlanta, I didn't want to necessarily live downtown,
Yeah. But I think the problem where maybe anarchy could be a third party, I'm really thinking about it. Like, you should be able to go to smaller towns where there isn't that. Like, if I want to build something on my land, it doesn't matter.
Right.
I don't need a permit.
Yeah.
Why should I have a permit to build a doghouse?
Yeah. There's no reason why you should have someone with an armed agent of the government showing up with a semi-automatic weapon drawn because you have solar panels on your land and you didn't get a permit. But
right.
That's the kind of stuff that happens in small towns. And the reason why it happens in small towns is because you have monopolies that popped up, where the government put protections and they gave it to different large companies where they are like, all right, well, you get to control the electricity, you get to control the cable, you get to control the telephones. And they've made all these agreements. And if you do anything to jeopardize their agreements, now, oh boy, you've just interfered with their money.
Dude, Tennessee put a blocker on that kind of thing. So like in Tennessee, power companies and stuff aren't allowed to make a profit.
Oh, wow.
It's illegal. So they keep the costs lower.
Yeah. Well, I think the real solution is to push for more just competition in the energy field. Like I'm a big fan of solar, but also I'm a big fan of nuclear. Like I know nuclear is like scary to a lot of people, but I will.
It's because they don't understand.
Yeah, they just don't understand the technology. But especially like the newer plants, they're so safe. Like like it's insanely safe. So and it's so.
I think if
clean.
People can figure out how to build a rocket that can catch itself, that the nuclear, structure should be trusted by now.
Is it third gen nuclear technology? Is like it's by far
the construction of that,
the cleanest energy and I think one of the safest.
And are they smaller than they used to be? Because we flew over some the other day, and I was like, "Wow, those things look tiny compared to what I thought they would."
And they put out so much clean energy. And I will say, I will say this. I'll give the progressives this. They have embraced clean nuclear energy. They have they're like the real true progressives are like look at like all the push for like solar and all that and like wind as like just complete nonsense and BS. Like, it's like, how many solar fields are we going to have? Like, what are we doing here? Like, how many rich companies are we going to have to send government checks? Because, you know what I
Well,
mean?
like around here, you see solar fields, and like, who's getting any of that benefit
Yeah.
because they don't give it to you in your bill.
Well, I mean, what insults me a lot is when you see these large solar fields down here, and you have pretty insane restrictions in some areas about how much solar energy you're allowed to harness on your own property. And it's like, so
Yeah,
wait a minute, you can sell me solar energy, but I can't harness it?
right.
Why? What's unsafe? What's unsafe? Tell me.
And you remember the marketing strategy that they had originally when they started selling solar roof panels, and they would be like, yes, whenever you generate this much energy, then the power company will pay
Mm-hmm.
you. That's I've known a lot of people that have had those put on, and they've never gotten money from.
So it's theoretically possible, but you're going to have a lot.
You're right.
Yeah.
It's
Yep.
not technically possible with the technology and the equipment that they install at your
Yeah.
house.
And that's where they get you. That's where, and that's where the regulations came into place. Is
Yeah.
uh, they built in some cost for the consumer to definitely make sure that you don't get a leg up on your energy bill by putting
Yeah.
solar.
I just don't understand why the powers that be don't want people to actually have any money. Like,
Well,
what's the
it's not
point
that
of
they don't
keeping
want you to have any
everybody?
money. They just want you to get rid of it as soon as you get it.
Yeah, but they've gotten to the point to where they have you getting rid of more than you acquire.
Yeah, saving is bad now. They do not want
Yeah.
saving. Like, saving, banks will tell you, don't save money. What are you doing? Why are you putting money in savings?
Right.
Invest. Put your money. You
That's so
spend it.
stupid.
Spend it. Get it out.
Yeah.
Get it out of the economy.
Yeah. Where does that thought pattern come from?
Well, I mean,
I don't know.
to an extent, they're not technically wrong because inflation is so bad.
Right.
Like, they're not technically, they're right, but it's still a problem.
Yeah.
um,
I just guess I don't understand how all of it works enough. It's just like I feel like
like, unless you have an insane interest rate on your savings
I
account,
just feel
the,
I feel cheated as an adult
you are.
because when I was a kid, I feel like my parents could afford to do way more than I can afford to do now.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, absolutely. And you could, I mean, like, and their parents could afford way more than what they could afford,
Yeah.
and that is going to continue because there is this tendency for bad people who don't care about humanity to only care about exploiting other people and acquiring wealth for themselves because they're greedy, and
Yeah.
that's going to be a thing forever. The problem is, well, how do you solve it, right? Well, how do we solve it?
Right.
Well, you
Right.
don't give those greedy people the power to make laws.
Right.
Like, that's the problem, is that our entire governmental system now functions as an asset for those greedy people.
Yes.
And that can only happen when the government is large enough to have that much influence.
Right.
So you just, until we start shrinking down how much power they can have, they're not going to have less power.
No. And they're not going to give it up anytime
And
soon.
they're not going to give it up willingly. That's the key.
Yeah. What the secret is, you have to vote for a different party. Not the opposite one that
Not
you
the
voted
opposite
for
one.
last time.
Because the opposite one, they're telling you the same boogeyman still.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
It's so bad. Well, thank you for the
I hoped it was still
teasing my.
fun. Like, and I was trying to keep it lighthearted.
No,
And I
no,
feel like it was
I don't
kind
care
of
about it being lighthearted. It was, but
deep,
I mean,
but
I'd rather learn. Like, it was deep, but I needed it to be deep because I want to know about it. Like, there's more to Jonathan4Realz than just making people laughs.
I also think the laugh is a great way to, like, start a conversation. It's an icebreaker.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It helps to like soak in what you're talking about. But yeah. So I feel like I'd wrap it up
Yeah,
here.
it's great. I had a fun
All right.
time.
Heck yeah.